Welcome to iScope Media. Today we are talking about a major development that has been reported, that is Prashant Kishor has denied to join Congress, while hopes of the grand old party has been dashed. Now, can Prashant Kishor be trusted after hopping from one party to the other? Well, the depth of the repentance determines the depth of the revival, said Frank Batterman, American Pentecostal writer, evangelist, and missionary in the first decade of the 20th century. Well, almost 120 years later, 140-odd-year-old Congress Party's future for some time now has been depending on two basic heads. One is identifying or collating the mistakes of the past, and second, arriving at the revival perception. Now, political strategist Prashant Kishor started knocking on the party's doors with his prescription some time ago. The Grand Old Party is in disarray, kick-started the usual consultation mechanism, creating a positive churn, trepidation, and inert opposition. Well, but today, through Twitter, Prashant Kishor rejected the Congress offer to join the Empowered Action Group of the party. He said, I decline the generous offer of Congress to join the party as part of the EAG and take responsibility for the election. In my humble opinion, more than me, the party needs leadership and collective will to fix the deep-rooted structural problems through transformational reforms. Well, after a few rounds of talks at the top echelons in the Congress and the Kishor's meeting with Sonia Gandhi also, still the most commanding voice in the party's first family, there were signs that the deal talks weren't likely to end in new beginnings, thus dashing the hopes of the romantics who thought an antidote was coming. Well, it was known that a lateral entry by someone of the caliber and of Prashant Kishor would need seeding and creation of space at the top in the Congress. So let's start with the seismic indicators which had signaled the odd against the deal. The Congress cadres living on the steady diet of the breathless, instead scooped content by the young journalist and the punditry that was literally foretelling doomsday if the Congress doesn't adopt PK's prescription shouldn't have missed these signals. Well, at a time when the Congress was in the midst of a so-called revival plan where an ex-Congress President Rahul Gandhi, who a little over a decade ago was coincidentally seen in the mantra for revival before he turned part of the problem. Well, the answer is that almost a week ago, Rahul Gandhi left for the foreign destination. Well, sources in the Congress say any decision on the PK's entry and life in or with Congress depended first and foremost on the first family. The broad impression was that Rahul Gandhi was not convinced by PK doctrine or the revival doctrine with PK in it. Well, there were doubts over allowing PK to enter the decision-making turf. Sources say the push for the PK promise was coming from Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. They also say that she was trying to convince her brother and congressman to press the trial button at least. Well, this is where the second and the latest signal comes in. Sources in the Congress say that even Priyanka Gandhi Vadra left India's territorial boundaries during the last 24 hours. Well, with both Priyanka Gandhi, the dominant force behind the deal talks, and Rahul Gandhi, who needs to sign the deal out of the country, it was clear that the urgency and the deal were off. The other big hiccups came in the form of Kishor's political interest and his IPAC business deals. His parlays with Congress top brass caused unease in the party's Telangana unit since TRS had signed a pact with the Indian Political Action Committee. The odds are against the grand merger of the minds against Narendra Modi and his juggernaut were always there and had started sprouting here. Well, PK for Congress or in Congress was an idea to be installed in Delhi but implemented and executed in the other states also. Political challenges unique in the Congress in Indian states can be divided into few categories, we can say. States like Rajasthan, where the Congress is strong but an Ashok Gehlot controls it. State where Congress has dominant allies like state where High Command is in control and those where Congress has poor bench strength. Well, it's easier for regional and one state players or one person show outfits like TMC or TRS and others to go with a PK. The line of command is uncomplicatedly linear. The top boss gets advice. He or she issues orders and down till the last party denominator, the execution happens without questions or opposition. Well, also the PK style of political expertise has the generalization zing about it. It resonates with younger leaders. It worked with Abhijit Banerjee in the TMC Shiv Sena's, Aditya Thackeray, KT's Rama Rao, who is TRS chief KCR's son. Though Priyanka Gandhi was pushing for PK's prescription, the Congress has too large an old guard with a strong footprint. Well, the Congress's troubles escalated post the 2019 Lok Sabha debacle. In May 2019, Rahul Gandhi opened a front against the entrenched old guard. Disappointed by the "No, we will not surrender" to Rahul Gandhi's call of conscience stance of the heavyweights, Rahul Gandhi resigned on 3rd July 2019. Well, that generated a tumult that has not abated despite ouster of Captain Amrinder Singh exits by like the Jyotiraditya Scindia, Jitin Prashada, RPN Singh and Ashok Tanwar, or mutinizes by the likes of Sachin Pilot or the G23. And there were visible signs of that. The group of leaders proximate to Rahul Gandhi has been the elite groups for some time. They had synced their apprehensions to the PK plan with Rahul Gandhi's lack of trust. Well, the old guard was watching the goings on closely. Take from the example Ashok Gehlot. On April 20, the Rajasthan CM, who was in Delhi to meet interim President Sonia Gandhi, said, PK has emerged as a brand. This is a professional task. PK's name has gone bigger. And then he slipped in, opposition should use the experience of veterans. We have been taking the views of experts. But a subtle spear came on Tuesday morning from Subhash Garg, the Rajasthan Technical Education Minister, part of Gehlot's Council of Ministers. Out of nowhere, Garg took to Twitter to post, only leaders and workers can strengthen an organization, not some consultant or service provider. The organization needs Chanakyas, not businessmen, he said. Well, Garg is an out-and-out Gehlot loyalist. Congressmen in Rajasthan say the CM assisted Garg in contesting and winning on the Rashtriya Lok Dal ticket from the Bharatpur in 2018 and was inducted in the Council of Ministers. Well, this was all about Prashant Kishor and how he has denied the membership to Congress right now. Stay with us, we shall bring you more such interesting topics to talk upon. This is Aparna Sindhu reporting for iScope Media.